All right, Sixer Nation, the team just announced that they have officially made another signing, but what does that mean for the rest of the roster and what we could potentially see over the next couple weeks? We will try to predict those final couple roster spots here today. We'll also get into some Joel Embiid stuff. He had a controversial quote and a whole bunch more, but first and foremost, welcome into Philly Take with RB. I'm RB. We cover this team every single day. Do me a favor, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on those noties so you don't miss any of the coverage. The first thing I have for you all today is this. Shout out to Jacob Moreno. Jared McCain had a pretty strong finish to his summer league yesterday, 15 points and 4 assists. He shot 5 for 12 from the field and hit 3 threes as well. Good to see him kind of finding that shooting stroke over the course of this summer and of this offseason. Do you think he's going to get minutes in his rookie year? Does he have a spot in the rotation? I mean, you almost kind of have to, right? Like, you go and invest in this guy. Yes, he's more of a long-term potential boom type of project, but you're going to need that shooting, and you invested in this asset. You're trying to win now. If this guy can give you at least some knockdown shooting off the bench, I mean, it could be very beneficial for this team. So you're going to need this. Good to see him continue to improve. But when you bring back guys like Kyle Lowry and you have a couple other pieces fighting for a spot as well, I mean, are you going to have room for Jared McCain? So I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. Also, one other quick piece of news, the Paul George opening presser introductory press conference tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. We will be live for that, reacting to it. So be sure to come through and hang out with us as well. But let's go ahead and get into some of the roster stuff, because the Sixers finally announced officially that they have signed Jeff Dowtin Jr. But listen to this, it's on a two-way contract. Sources tell The Athletic, Dowtin averaged 17.1 points and 5.7 assists in NBA Summer League after playing 12 games last season. Got a little taste of it, but eventually, kind of fell out of the rotation. He's a Nick Nurse guy from Toronto days. And I had a feeling after watching him in Summer League, I'll be honest, he did look pretty impressive, that he was going to be back on the roster. But if you remember a couple months ago, they ended up cutting him. I thought that he was not going to be back. And I thought if he was back, that they were going to actually sign him. But as you can see, they used the last two-way contract on Jeff Dowtin Jr. So officially, here are the two-way contracts this year for the 76ers. Jeff Dowtin Jr., David Jones, and then Justin Edwards. Those are the three. And that kind of leaves a few odd men out, right? Kiva Luma, who I thought had a very impressive summer league, he's not going to be on a two-way, so he'll probably be with the Bluecoats. Judah Mintz is another one. And, obviously Ricky Council is going to make the team, but there are a few other guys there that I thought could have been vying for these spots. At the end of the day, Jeff Dowtin Jr. is here on the Sixers. He'll either be with the Bluecoats or the Sixers. I think he will have some time eventually up at the NBA level again. I know Nick Nurse is high on him. And again, he did play pretty well over the course of the 5 Summer League games. So shout out to Jeff Dowtin Jr. And that is where we are at. So what does that mean for the Sixers? Shout out to Austin Carell with the cap sheet here. He says, as a reminder, two-ways do not count. A Dembona deal added in. This is where the Sixers stand with a minimum of 2 roster spots left. So right now, they have 12 guys who are on NBA contracts, and they have the 3 two-ways who we just talked about. They do not count towards the cap. So now all they have left is veteran minimums for their free agent resources, right? So they have 12 guys. Obviously you want to get to 15, but you have to at least get to 14. There are instances where you can go into the season with 1 spot open, right? Remember they did that a couple years ago. They cut Isaiah Joe and they cut Bassey, and they left that 1 open spot. And, obviously that bit them in the butt, but, they can go into the season with 14 guys and leave 1 spot open. I hope they do fulfill these roster spots. But right now there's 3 guys out there, right? Is there 3 players that the Sixers can bring in on vet mins? Let's try to predict who that's going to be. I've been saying now for a couple weeks, I said it on the last video, we put out a community post. Marcus Morris makes so much sense for the Philadelphia 76ers, right? Go and get this guy on a vet min. Get it done yesterday. He should be back in Philly. By the way, we still need a starting power forward. Marcus Morris, I could see Precious Achiuwa getting signed. He's still available. And maybe a couple other guys, right? Lonnie Walker, Gordon Hayward's out there available. I could see the Sixers trying to pick up a couple of these pieces. They're going to have to find some bodies, right, to fill these roster spots. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens, but a couple guys still to fill on this team. Who do you think is going to get those final couple spots? What about Robert Covington? Is there an opportunity for him to come back? I mean, I haven't heard any free agent interest in Rocco. Like, I don't think I've heard his name once this entire summer. And Rocco last year was actually playing pretty well until he got injured, and then we had that press conference where Nick Nurse essentially said there's no light at the end of the tunnel. One of the weirdest things that I've ever heard a coach say about a player. And since then, like, is Rocco even here? Where is he? I haven't heard anything about this guy. I haven't seen him. I don't know what's going on, but maybe it could be Rocco or Marcus Morris or Precious Achiuwa or a couple other players like Lonnie Walker. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But as of right now, great job here by Austin Krell. The Sixers are currently 1.1. We'll call it 1.1 below the first apron, and they are 11.8 below the second apron. And here's where this gets interesting, right? They are above the tax line right now by $6.2 million. Keep in mind, the Sixers ducked the tax the last couple years, right? So if you are a repeat offender in the tax, you end up getting more penalties, right? If you're in the tax multiple years in a row. The Sixers ducked the tax the last 2 years. Is this their opportunity to say, screw it, we're going all in anyway, let's go in and try to compete and not worry about the tax this year? Or are they going to eventually try to get below that line again because they're rich and they don't want to pay any of the taxes that come along with, you know, the penalties for being above that tax line? Well, there might be a KJ Martin trade. They've already kind of set up the dominoes for that. So it is a possibility, but it's not like they have to get out of it this year because of the repeat tax. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But right now they're 6.2 above the tax, 1 million below the first apron. I can tell you they're definitely not going above that. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, the vet mins don't really count either. So that's probably where they're going to stay right now, but we'll keep our eyes on it. Lastly, I want to talk about Joel Embiid because he made some controversial quotes and he's got people riled up. It almost feels like at this point, Joel Embiid is the villain of the NBA. Like, it seems like these great players come along and until they win, they're absolutely hated, right? If Joel Embiid wins a championship, everybody's going to say this guy is so incredible and the talent is there. But right now, he's like public enemy number one. And before I even talk about what he said, I was actually just watching the Olympics a couple minutes ago. They're scrimmaging Germany today. And by the way, we're probably going to live stream those actual Olympic games starting this week. But here's what Joel Embiid did. I just want to point this out. This is probably the best block I've ever seen him make, or maybe top 3. What a play by Joel Embiid here. He gets beat off the ball and comes all the way back. What a stuff at the rim. Unbelievable play by Joel Embiid. So everybody's been talking smack about this guy and, oh, he can't play on this Olympic team and he stinks and this and that. Well, how about that? Probably one of the best plays I have seen yet. But the other day, Joel Embiid came out and he made this statement saying that he could have been the GOAT if it were not for the prior injuries. He says, I think I'm that talented. If you think about it, the thing that stopped me all these years is freak injuries. Every single playoffs, regular season, people falling on my knee or breaking my face twice. It's always freak injuries at the wrong time. That's exactly right. 100% right. Now, in terms of being the GOAT, could he have been the best all time? I don't know. I mean, we'd have to see the extended play over the course of his career, right? Big part of that is health. Like, you have to play for probably 20 seasons to be considered in that GOAT convo, or at least 15, right? It's going to be tough, but overall, when it comes to the center position, seeing how he has helped transition that position, seeing how he has helped evolve the game in that way, I definitely think he should be in the convo for one of the most talented centers ever, maybe one of the most talented players ever, just given how he impacted the game. Sure, the injuries, the freak injuries, stopped him from ever being able to come close to that. But if he was healthy his entire career, yes, he has to win. He has to get to the pinnacle. But there's no reason, based on what he has done in his career and the stats he's put up, and obviously he's dealt with a lot of drama, a lot of baggage, but just his play overall, he's doing things we've never even seen at the center position. And a lot of the greats, when you take into account centers or power forwards or just big men in general, have never been able to do the things that Joel is able to do. So in terms of being one of the greatest skilled centers ever, yes, I think he could be in that conversation, but that's just my personal take on it. And sometimes Joel Embiid's just way too honest, and he knows he puts these things out there. People are going to try to grill him for it, but oh well. We just want to see him come out here and win a championship. That's it. That's all we care about. And then today, Joel Embiid commented on playing in Philadelphia. He says, quote, "I love Philly. I've been here for 10 years, and it's looking like I'm going to be here for a long time." Maybe a hint at his contract potential extension coming up. He says, "I actually have an opportunity to finish my career here if they let me." So again, in a day and age where there's a lot of stars on the move and guys are requesting and forcing trades and they're sitting out if they don't get moved and things like that, Joel Embiid says, nah, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to stay here in Philly where I feel welcomed and appreciated and try to do everything I can to keep playing my best ball here and go out and win this city a championship, because all they have done is shown me love, and I'm going to try to return that favor. So respect to Joel for not just saying at the first chance, get me out of here, put me with 3 other big superstars. Nah, he wants to build here. He said some really nice things about Tyrese Maxey. He helped recruit Paul George here. So shout out to Joel Embiid. He's locked in Philadelphia, and I hope he is able to achieve the ultimate goal here, because it would be absolutely incredible for both him and the Philadelphia 76ers. So that's where we're at, man. Give me all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. And as always, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.